I'm Zeb Weiss. I'm Executive Director of the Office of Kentucky Nature Preserves, which is a small agency in our State Energy and Environment Cabinet. We have a variety of programs, but they all basically boil down to the conservation and protection of Kentucky's rare species and natural habitats. We have, again, a variety of programs that do that. Everything from our Heritage Land Program actually tries to purchase land that has really good examples of natural features or rare species. The Kentucky Wild Rivers Program under us protects riparian corridors, forested corridors along specific wild rivers, areas that don't have a whole lot of development, like parts of the Cumberland River, parts of the Rockcastle River. There's 9 rivers in total in that program. We operate Kentucky's Endangered Plant Species Program, so we're out there looking for our endangered plants. So we have a lot of different grants and a lot of different programs that work to try to conserve, again, the rare and the really natural areas left in Kentucky. Well, a lot of our programs deal with public lands. Our state nature preserve system, we work with a lot of state parks, local parks, things like that. But 95% of Kentucky is privately owned. So if we really want to conserve Kentucky's woods, Kentucky's rare species, we have got to work with private landowners. And we've kind of expanded that a little bit over the years as a priority for us. We have 2 main programs that we've actually just recently started to help work with private landowners in the state of Kentucky. The first is our Kentucky Biodiversity Assessment Program, and our botanists are looking at about 20 counties each year. We're going to get them all done eventually, and in those counties they're looking for nice old woods where we do a total biodiversity assessment, meaning we look at plants like from ginseng to invasive plants like bush honeysuckle. And we just try to do an overall assessment. And our goal is to find some areas that are really, really in especially good shape and natural condition. But we also want to assess the needs for areas that aren't in such great shape and need some extra work on invasive species and things like that. A separate program and a more specific program is our shortleaf pine restoration grant that we received. This is our 3rd year, and we got another couple years to go. Private landowners in the Rockcastle, Laurel, Pulaski, Wayne, Whitley, McCreary area, we're looking for private landowners with shortleaf pine on their property. And we are working in this grant with the Kentucky Division of Forestry, and we're actually going to be trying to find the best shortleaf pine stands we can to implement prescribed burning and other restoration procedures to help really boost that shortleaf pine habitat. Again, that's good for the pine itself, but there's a whole host of rare and endangered species that like those pines. Again, one thing I want to add is that when we work on these private landowners, our ultimate goal is we want to find the absolute best pieces of property we can that are in the most natural state that we can, and help private landowners understand their property and understand how to manage their own property. Occasionally, there'll be a property that we might actually try to purchase to make a state nature preserve or some other type of conservation area. But I just want to assure folks that we only work with willing landowners who want to sell their property. Some folks donate their property. We actually received a donation this year of 300 acres from a private landowner in one of our programs to make a new state nature preserve. But just having rare and endangered species on your property doesn't mean anybody's going to make you do what you don't want to do. That's not really how it works with our programs. We just want to help you manage what you got. If you have a piece of property that is exceptionally old or has not been disturbed very much, maybe a big chunk of old growth forest, or even a small chunk. I mean, some of our properties might be 15 acres, might be 20 acres. So they don't necessarily have to be gigantic. But if you think it's something different or something special, the first folks I would call really would be my local extension agent and see what they thought about the property, how unique it really is. And from there, sometimes the local forest ranger, Division of Forestry, will come out and take a look. We work with them a lot. Again, our Forest Biodiversity Assessment Program is actively looking for private landowners, as is our shortleaf pine restoration. So if all the cards line up right, we can send folks that are our professional botany staff, our zoologists, to look at your property. The places in Kentucky, we always say that look the most like, they would have when Daniel Boone came walking through, that really have not been disturbed heavily. There's some exceptions to that, but by and large, that's kind of what we're looking for. One of the issues we have, if you want to call it an issue, is a lot of people in Kentucky love their property. I mean, a lot of private landowners think their farm or their property is the best place to be in the state of Kentucky, is pristine. And we do get people offering to donate their property to us or work with us in some other capacity as a nature preserve, but really their property doesn't have those attributes. It has been a farm for a long time, or it has been maybe logged historically heavier, even though they might be doing sustainable mess management practices for the last 20 or 30 years, what happened on it 100 years ago, that type of thing. So we unfortunately aren't really able to work with everybody that comes to us wanting a nature preserve. What we try to do in that case is we try to hook them up with their local conservation district, even their local county government, in addition to, of course, everybody already knows about Extension and Division of Forestry and Fish and Wildlife, NRCS. We work with all those programs regularly. But sometimes, we can't take it as a nature preserve, even if that's what they want. But sometimes we can take it as what we call a natural area that is owned by a conservation district or a county government. It's not really a park. What we call our natural areas in our heritage land program is not really a park, in that we don't get involved with properties for ball fields and recreational stuff like that. It's still a natural area. It's still a place to go hiking. It can be maybe a place for best management practices. It can be a place to be observed for forest management, invasive species control, things like that. And so a lot of times if people come to us, we do kind of try to direct them to one of these partnering programs, and that does happen fairly frequently. I get calls on probably a weekly, or emails on a weekly basis probably, from somebody who wants to see their land protected. They maybe are getting older, maybe their kids or their grandkids aren't as interested or have moved out of state or whatever, but they love their property and they want to see it conserved. And so what we try to do is find a conservation program that's appropriate for them. And it might not be with us. It might be with a federal program. It might be with a local land trust. But we try not to leave people without some kind of resource to figure out how to conserve their land in an appropriate way. The most special places that we consider natural in the state of Kentucky, whether it is Cumberland Falls or whether it's Blanton Forest State Nature Preserve, every one of them was a private landowner at some point, before it became a nature preserve or a state park or anything like that. So it all starts with the private landowner. It all starts with them taking good care of their property, and it all starts with them wanting to see it passed on for future generations. So we really can't do anything without private landowners wanting to be on board. So if you think you have a place on your property that is really special, is really different, you just love it. A creek, a wildflower patch, some big old trees, anything like that, I encourage you to let your local professionals know, your local extension agent, your local fish and wildlife biologist, your local Division of Forestry ranger. Let them know about the property and let them know that you think it's special and you are interested in talking to nature preserves. They'll come take a look at it. They'll let us know if it really looks like something unusual, and we'd be glad to come out. Again, we have projects that move around the state in different counties. We have different emphasis at different times. But if you contact us, let us know about your property. We'll keep you on the list for we're working in your area. And that's really all there is to it. It takes, again, folks wanting to see their property conserved to have anything conserved. And we just hope you'll reach out to us if you have something that's really, really unique and special like that. We'd love to come see it.